Get booked and paid. I want to talk about 7 fixes for your speaking business before the next year. Get paper, pen, whatever, coffee, tea, whatever your drink is of choice. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lena Castle from Speakers and Stages. If you're already getting speaking gigs, but you're just underpaid, overworked, and leaning a little too hard on random referrals, this has to be a video for you. So today I'm walking through 7 fixes for your speaking business before 2026 so you can get booked and paid without burning out. And at the end, I'll invite you to a live masterclass where we will build your 2026 roadmap together. Let me just give you a little bit of context, all right? Because a lot of speakers out here, they may be booked, but they're not really truly in control. So most of the speakers that I've worked with, they're not beginners. A lot of them are doing speaking 20,000, 40, $50,000 per speaking gig plus. And a lot of them are speaking full time, but they've spoken on different stages and had different opportunities at various events, and they have a talk that works, a signature talk of some sort that works for them. But let me tell you, people will tell them that you were amazing and you were great. But oftentimes, regardless if, that speaker has been doing that for so many years, the reality is behind the scenes, it often looks like fees that just change depending on who's asking or who the conversation's with. There's no real true system for inquiries and follow up and doing it very quickly, especially if someone is looking for a speaker for an event. And sometimes the bios, short and or long, are just outdated, the one sheets. And the website, their speaker website, doesn't really match who they are now. There might not be an actual plan for getting in front of bigger and better stages or any PR at all. So let's talk about 7 fixes that you can start thinking about right now. Okay? So let's jump into it. We're going to talk about first, number one, let's get honest about your fee. How much do you want to get paid? What is that speaker fee range that you have already indicated? If your fee is based on what people usually pay or what you think they can afford, that's just a red flag going into 2026, okay? You need a clear, confident fee range that reflects your experience, okay? The outcomes that you deliver and the markets that you serve. So you don't have to change it overnight, but you need to decide. You want to decide it on purpose. It shouldn't be like, oh, somebody's asking me how much I should get paid. 2,500. No, let's talk about how many years of experience. And some of you who are still new to speaking have such vast experience already doing X, or you're an expert in AI, or you're an expert in healthcare, or you're an expert in business, or whatever that looks like. It is really critical that you're looking at what is the experience that I currently have. I'm not new to this. I may be a little new to doing more speaking engagements, but my experience isn't new. And then let's talk about the outcomes you deliver. When someone is asking, or a company organization is asking you to come in and speak, that's a really big deal. And their audience, it is all about the audience for a lot of companies and organizations. So you don't want it to just be, oh, you're just going to get this and this. It needs to be very intentional on you listing out purposefully what value is their audience going to get when you come in. So that could be if you're a breakout speaker, if you're the keynote speaker, and every event experience may be completely different, but how you are articulating and positioning the value that you offer and what you're going to deliver is going to be directly tied to whatever your speaker fee is. So if you're saying that your speaker fee is 20,000, but it doesn't, the experience really isn't there, there's not a lot of results there, the outcomes you deliver aren't really clear, and the markets that you serve, like the audience who is going to be listening in, is that there? So being beyond just thoughtful about who's my audience. And you also need to do some research. Is the type of audience that you'll be speaking in front of, are those the type of companies and organizations that have those type of audiences going to be paying that type of fee for your experience? Got to figure those things out, right? You don't have to change it like tonight, but you do need to decide it on purpose, that it's very clear that the value that you're saying is it's worth this. You definitely want to make sure that the fee and what they're getting is directly connected. Now, and this goes right into the second fix that you need to be thinking about for 2026. Clean up your core assets. Okay. Clean up your core assets. So event planners, meeting planners, PR doesn't just listen to your talk, right? They're like your bio, everything that they're looking at from your assets. So if your fee is 25,000, but you have a bio that's outdated, your speaker one sheet, your EPK, your media kit, whatever that is, making sure that everything is there and it looks like the price that you're asking for. Your speaker website, your highlight reel, your photos, your headshot, everything must be screaming, yeah, I'm worth that. Absolutely. And if those feel outdated or it's inconsistent or just thrown together, you're creating doubt. So before we even talk numbers and having deeper conversations, a quick win would be like before 2026, make sure that you're refreshing your core speaker assets so that it matches the level that you are saying you're playing at. Okay. So bios, headshots, speaker reels, highlights, EPK, your media kit, whatever you want to call it, your speaker one sheet, photos, all the things. And I'll even add a caveat that even your social media, is this what you consistently are talking about on social media? So, fix number three, put something in place for tracking inquiries. And so, number three is all about your systems. So, if someone inquires about retaining you as a speaker, you don't want everything to be everywhere, right? You want to make sure that as soon as you get that invite or an inquiry, that it's handled properly. So if inquiries are scattered across your emails, it's in your DMs, it's random notes, you're losing opportunities. Yeah. And you don't want a giant tech stack that, oh my gosh, because some people just are doing things everywhere using different things, but really, you do need one home base. This is the source of truth for all of your inquiries. This is how they can inquire about services or getting me on stage. Where are they in the process? There should be a process, some type of continuum that you can say, okay, they've inquired. Okay, we had a call to discuss what the event expectations are. Here's how they can get my speaker contract, which has everything entailed with my preferences, what's required, all the things, right? The rider. And then this is how they can pay me, and this is how everything is built out. And it's something that is automated, I would hope, right? So that could be a CRM, which is a client relationship management system, some type of software. It could be Honeybook, it could be Go High Level, any of those things, or even a structured spreadsheet. If you're like, oh my gosh, that just sounds overwhelming. The point is, stop trusting your memory. When somebody reaches out, especially a lot of times what's happening when you go speak and you do an amazing job because you're just that amazing, people are like, oh, I would love her for her or him to come to my next event. This would be so amazing. Do they have a way to be able to get to you pretty quickly? So if they're talking to your team, is there a way that they can make sure that inquiry is not lost? All right, number four, decide your speaking business hours. Because you got to have some type of boundaries. You can't just be like, I'm available anytime. Do you need me? You don't want to sound thirsty, okay? A lot of speakers are exhausted because speaking is a top or a full-time life in business for many speakers who are doing it at that level. So one of the practical fixes is to decide, when do I work on my speaker business and when are inquiries responded to, and when do I work on content and assets? Like those things have to be carved out because whatever your messaging is, constant content needs to be coming out about that. Okay. So if everything is when I get a chance or it will always feel chaotic, you just need to, even if it's 2 to 3 focused hours per week, being able to Figure out how you want to change that outcome in 2026. You definitely want to make sure that you're not losing out. You want to make sure you take advantage of every opportunity whenever it comes your way. But how those opportunities are coming, it's if you have consistent content, you have your assets all together, and that inquiries are being responded to in a timely manner. Because what you don't want to do is create some type of negative experience that someone has reached out wanting to book time with you to see if this is a good fit as a speaker and you missed the opportunity or you missed the email. So if your admin is on it, how they are triaging that mailbox of yours, how they're able to quickly get to what's the best way that you are being well represented, that should be a process. Okay. And that goes back to your CRM system. There should be some type of system. Number 5, create a simple dream stages and media list, okay? Because waiting for invitations for somebody to say, I want to book you is not a strategy, okay? So before the new year, I want you to list out 10 to 20 events you would love to speak at. So 5 to 10 podcasts or media outlets you'd love to be featured on. Just having this list starts to really move you from random gigs to a strategy pipeline for 2026, okay? Because you want to be in the new year those who want to reach out because you have the content, you have the assets together. It's easy to be able to book with you, it's easy to work with you. You'll know who you're reaching out to and why because you have created that list. It's not something that is just haphazard. It's these are the events that I want to speak on these different stages for 2026. So 10 to 20 events, 5 to 10 podcasts or media outlets that you would love to be featured on. Okay, number 6, upgrade your follow-up game. Yes, I said it. So many speakers lose money because they don't follow up on warm conversations. A lot of times after they have spoke on stage and people are excited to connect with them, and especially speakers that don't have a team. So when a speaker is showing up and there is no team, who's going to be having those conversations on your behalf and who's also documenting who those conversations are with and follow-up conversations that are on the calendar. So by the time you get back home and well rested after that wonderful talk, you have a calendar for the next couple of weeks with time on the calendar with discussions and conversations with those who want to book you next. And so if your team is not already strategizing how they're making sure to research in advance on your behalf to how to maximize every event experience, you may be also losing out. And also, don't just repitch past clients with new ideas. You got to be like fresh. You know how new year, new me deal? Fresh. Don't send also a simple, what's on your calendar this year email. No. A quick fix, make a short list of past events or contacts and send a clean professional check-in. You'll be surprised what comes back when you stay on their radar. So if there's a short list of past events, okay, I've been at Essence, let me just follow up with that contact, see what they're doing for next year or different, whatever those event experiences that you want to be a part of. And a lot of these stages and experiences are all relationship based. So when someone comes to me and says, Lena, I need to get on more stages, I just think in my mind, you need more relationships. You need to have more conversations because anyone that's on anyone else's stage, there's a relationship there. Okay. Number 7, stop. Oh, we got to talk about the support, the people who are behind the scenes who are supposed to be your ride or die. Yes, your team that is, they don't have their own motives. They are professional, okay? They are there for you, making sure that you look good and that if there's anything that needs to be handled, that they're taking care of it. So trying to be the talent, the admin, the sales team, and the PR department, capturing testimonials and doing all the things, it's a recipe for staying stuck. I don't want you to stay stuck. So support doesn't have to mean a huge team either. Like it could be a virtual assistant for a few hours a month. It could be someone who edits your reel and does all of those updates like we talked about. Or it could be a program where you get help with those systems and pitching and having that strategy. Right. So the point is, if you want a different level of result in 2026, you probably can't do it with the exact same level of support you had in 2024 and 2025. especially if you are trying to get paid over $20,000 for a speaking engagement for a keynote at 45 minutes. Okay. So if you listen to these 7 fixes and thought, you know what? Okay. Oh, you know what? Just in case you've just been moving around and forwarding to everything, let's just go over the 7 things I just told you. Okay. Get honest about your speaking fee. Okay. Number one. Number two, clean up your core assets. Number three, put something in place for tracking inquiries. Number four, decide your speaking business hours because it is a business if you're serious about it, if the impact is there. Number five, create simple dream stages and media list. Number six, upgrade your follow up game. And last but not least, stop doing it all alone. Let's talk about your support team. Okay. Now, I have to invite you because if you've listened to these 7 different fixes and you thought, okay, I recognize myself in way too many of those, that's not a bad thing. Okay. It just means you've outgrown the way you've been running your speaking business. That's all that means. So, to help you with that, I'm hosting a live masterclass, booked, paid, and positioned, the 2026 Speaker Business Roadmap, and it's designed specifically for speakers who are established. And these are for speakers who are already getting on stages, want higher, more consistent fees, and know they need better systems. Okay. And last but not least, this is for those who are not just speaking, but they're ready to be more intentional about stages and PR. That's also critical. So, in this masterclass, we're going to cover 3 big areas. One, positioning and profit. So we're going to talk about your fee in 2026, your core assets that make planners and media say, yes, come, this will be great. Yeah, we can pay your fee. Number two, systems and support, just like we talked about, the minimum back end every serious speaker needs, and then how to stop leaking time and money with manual, messy processes. So we want to make sure that is tight and right. And lastly, number three, we're going to be talking about stages, PR, and visibility. Okay. Why you can't just wait to be invited anymore. Ugh, you got to start building a pipeline of right fit events and PR opportunities. So you'll also get a simple 2026 paid in position checklist just for registering. And so you'll see exactly where your gaps are. That's going to be super critical. So if you're ready to stop winging it and start treating your speaking like a real business, I love to see you there. Save you a spot. And of course, spots are limited. So grab yours now if this is something that's resonating with you. So if this episode was helpful, like, share, subscribe to Speakers and Stages, and drop a comment. Tell me which of the 7 fixes that you're focusing on first. Gotta know that because I love being able to respond. And if there's any questions and things like that, let me know. So are you working on fees, systems, assets, or getting on more stages and being very intentional in 2026? Then let's do this thing. I appreciate you watching and I'll see you in the masterclass. And if there's anything that you're like, are you going to be covering this? Just come join, have a good time, and looking forward to seeing you there. Take care.